Suddenly, a horrifying sound came from inside the fort. I rushed toward that sound. As soon as I entered the fort, the lights went out. When I turned on my mobile phone's torch, it suddenly turned off. And I felt as if someone was standing right behind me. Then, a terrifying scream came, one that made my soul tremble, and when I tried to run, I fell to the ground. I came to Lahore looking for work. My friend got me a job at the Royal Fort. The job was to do duty at the Royal Fort. Then, my friend introduced me to the senior officer there, and I got the job to do duty there. One day, I was sitting at a hotel drinking tea when two men sitting near me started talking to each other. They were talking about a boy. When I asked them, "Which boy are you talking about?" they told me, "A girl did the night duty at the Royal Fort. Whoever does night duty at the Royal Fort becomes Lahore's Royal Fort, so no one does night duty there. That's why no guard does night duty there." And after that night, when I asked the senior officer there about that boy again, he stared at me and said softly, "If you spend the night here, then you will stop asking this question." I started my duty. Until 12 o'clock, everything was normal. But after 1 a.m., things began to change. Darkness spread everywhere, and footsteps began to be heard, coming from inside the Royal Fort, even though there was no one there. I turned on my mobile torch and walked inside. As soon as I entered, the sound stopped, and there was silence. Suddenly, the lights turned on. I checked the CCTV, but there was nothing in it, except one room was completely black. I decided to go there. As soon as I reached there, the lights went off, and when I turned on my mobile torch, it began to dim. Silence everywhere. Then, a voice came. "Get away from here. This place is not for you." I looked behind me, but there was no one there. But on the ground, there were strange marks, as if someone had passed through there. Yet, no one was there. Seeing this, I became terrified. I saw those marks suddenly begin to disappear. My heart started beating fast. Then, as soon as I looked up, I saw a shadow, but it had no face. I got scared and started running, but wherever I went, I saw that shadow everywhere, sometimes laughing, sometimes crying. Somehow, I managed to get out of the fort. As soon as I came outside, I saw my senior officer standing there. I ran to him, trembling. My senior asked me, "What happened? Why has your face turned pale? Why are you sweating so much?" I told my senior, "Inside the fort, there is a shadow with no head." When morning came, all the CCTV footage was checked. The entire night's recording was gone, but only one thing remained: a photograph. In that photograph, I was standing, and behind me was that shadow, with its hand on my shoulder. That picture looked so terrifying that I immediately ran away, and I never went there again. Then, I went back to my city. When I reached home, my parents saw me and became worried. They asked me, "What happened to you?" I said, "Nothing." But when I saw myself in the mirror, the fear was still visible on my face. I felt as if that shadow was still behind me. A week passed like that. Whenever I tried to sleep at night, I couldn't. After some days, I got better. And then, I never decided to go to Lahore again. I started some work in my own city. Even today, when my family asks me about it, I can't tell them anything, and I become terrified again.